What's up, guys? Jason Julius here, and I want to dig into how long does sex last on average for the average couple. Now, we talk a lot about overcoming premature ejaculation and training your autopilot responses so that you can have full control, so that your woman has plenty of time to become present, get into the moment, get those alpha waves flowing in the brain, get to an orgasmic state, and have an orgasm. But I wanted to paint the picture of what sex looks like for the average couple. So I dug into some research, and the interesting thing is there hasn't been a lot of studies that have super reliable data as far as the average duration of sex. Everything seemed to kind of point to one specific study as being likely to have the most accuracy, and that was a study involving 500 couples from 5 different countries: the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Spain, Turkey, and the United States. Now, keep in mind that this study only included heterosexual couples, and they were asked to use a stopwatch to time the duration of intercourse over 4 weeks. So they timed from the start of penetration to ejaculation. And they called this intravaginal ejaculatory latency, which sounds pretty sexy, right? Now, keep in mind that they didn't account for the time of foreplay, just the time from penetration to ejaculation. Now, you can already kind of see some potential flaws in terms of how accurate were they with the stopwatch, and knowing that they were being timed, how many didn't try a little bit harder to last or, embellish the results a little bit? But it's the most accurate study, so we're gonna go with it. But what were the results? Okay, the average duration of intercourse was about 5.7 minutes. Now that was a little bit longer than I expected, but I'll explain that in just a minute. And 5.7 minutes doesn't give her a whole lot of time to orgasm, but it's interesting. Now, the median latency time was about 5.4 minutes, which means that's the center of the numbers, meaning about half of the average times were less than that and half were more than that. And sometimes median can give us a little bit more accurate representation, so we're looking at about 5.4 minutes. And the study also says about 25% of men lasted less than 2 minutes after penetration on average. So about a quarter of guys are averaging less than 2 minutes after initial penetration. Now, all this data is pretty interesting because that means sex is lasting about 5.7 minutes on average, and half of men are averaging below 5.4 minutes, and a quarter below 2 minutes. Now, there was a huge range of averages. The couple with the lowest average was 33 seconds, and the couple with the highest average was 44 minutes. So that means that they were lasting even longer than 44 minutes on some occasions. Now, you can see that the extremes and the differences is why it's so hard to find the average. Now, this data actually really lines up with the guys that I've seen and that I've helped over the past 16 years. And in the same way, there's those outliers that can last way longer on average, which when you start to throw in numbers like 44 minutes or even more like my clients get to, then it really distorts that average. In other words, it's probably much more accurate that sex on average is even less than 5.7 minutes, and these outliers with large numbers skew the data, making it seem longer than it is. So the bottom line is, if you're unable to last more than 2 or 3 minutes, you're not alone. As we've talked about, quick release masturbation can contribute to lack of control, and how you condition yourself to ejaculate over and over is how your autopilot responses will act when you're in the act of making love with your woman. Now, women typically want sex to last at least 10 to 20 minutes so that she can become present, not feel rushed, and allow herself to orgasm. If you want to make sure that she has an orgasm and enjoys sex just as much as you do, you can do one of two things or both. Give her an orgasm before sex begins so that she's already in an orgasmic state and 10 times more likely to orgasm again in the short amount of time. And or second, you can train your autopilot responses, including your PC muscle, your mental state, your body tension, your breathing, and your attunement to your own threshold control so that you can last as long as you want, giving her plenty of time to enjoy the action. And I already talked about how to do that in another video on this channel called How I Cured My Premature Ejaculation, which I will link to after this video. So if you want to learn how to last longer during sex, be sure that you check that out. But let me know what you think. Were you surprised that the average length of sex is about 5.7 minutes? Did you think it would be shorter? Did you think it would be longer? Let me know in the comments below. And if this was interesting to you, just hit that thumbs up button down there. And also make sure you smash that subscribe button if having a high level of intelligence in the bedroom to give her awesome, amazing experiences is something that you're into. And I'll see you soon.